We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. Our ceremonial product today comes courtesy of Roger Damps, the heat ambassador over at Burn Your Tongue, with locations all along I-15 in Utah, as well as online at www.burnyourtongueonline.com. We raise our flame to Roger in honor. Burn Your Tongue is an official Temple of Flame and is constantly adding new items to bring you the biggest and best selection found anywhere. So head on over for the best chili head shopping experience the world has to offer. And what this is from Char, it is the Dos Locals hot sauce with the Tupa Tupa lager. So this is another one, another hot sauce with beer in it. And this color scheme is awful. We're not going to try to parse through this. So if you click to the written review, I talk about some of the stuff it wants to be put on according to the manufacturer. And pizza, burgers, and tacos are three that come to mind. And honestly, I didn't find this super enjoyable on any of those. But we'll get into that. Let's look at the ingredients first. So we have jalapenos. We have the lager here. We have water, apple cider vinegar, some sort of oil here. We have salt, dried guajillo chili peppers, dried morito chili peppers, and dried garlic. With the idea that, is it expressed oil? With the idea that they, I think, fried the chilies in the oil or something. The guajillos and the morritos. And I don't run across those two a whole lot, but see, it's this very nice, vibrant orange color. Sort of a medium thick, sort of a slower pour. Little flecks of red in there from the chilies. It's got actually sort of a creamy look to it as well. So it honestly reminds me of kind of like almost like a soup in tone here. I mean, it flattens out fairly quickly. Oils are something that always kind of throw me a little bit, I think, when I run across them in sauces, because I think it's because I use sauces so much to cut richness, to cut fat, to cut oil, that if there is richness added to the sauce, I think I just find it jarring just based on the way that I use hot sauces, personally. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good looking sauce. Definitely a little bit on the, to me it looks like a sort of a creamier sauce. I mean, it just visually looks that way to me. But I do quite like the color of this. Looks really good. All right, let's get on into it. It's a very odd flavor. There's a lot going on in here. A little bit of sourness to it. Getting some hints of the beer. It is a little bit spicier than I thought it would be. They give it This is a burn level up a palm tree. It's about halfway. This is kind of a really dumb way of measuring heat, but no. I mean, I think it's a pretty good solid 1. I don't think I would give it more than that though. It's not a blazing sauce, but it does have a really nice initial spike. There's a lot of grit in there, a lot of bits of chili, of course, because of the way that they came up with this. It's partially a smooth sauce. You do get a bit of the oiliness in it as well. It's a sauce I find really, really interesting in terms of flavor. I just don't find in application that it works the way that I would like it to, which to me means it isn't really working at all. And so with the pizza, there was a definite contrast between the pizza and this. It did not flow at all with it. Burger, where you have a more complex food, it did a little bit better. I thought it was okay on strips, and if I keep this, I will probably use it mainly for that. I just don't love the sauce, and that kind of creates a bit of a problem because I'm not inspired, I guess, to use it. The other one was tacos. And tacos, I think it was okay up to a very specific point because it would start to conflict with the food, with the flavors there, and it would start to, I guess, kind of overtake them and dominate them a little bit. And I just didn't like that flow. I like things to kind of go together when I'm using condiments, and this one plays a bit rough, and then it when it becomes that forceful, it is, I don't love that sort of aspect of it. Really fine balance I'm finding with this sauce. You really have to kind of work at it to find a good balance for it. And I probably used about a third of this, about a third of the bottle so far, just trying to play around with it and figure out where it should go. This probably isn't a sauce I would normally pick up on my own, given the whole beer in there. Like that, I find that adding alcoholic beverages to sauces, to me, it doesn't work more often than it does. But it's very interesting that Merida and Guajillo fried together sort of thing, like in a chili oil sort of aspect, I think really adds a lot of uniqueness to this. And I think the flavor isn't offensive or anything. It's hard to find somewhere for me that I think it meshes well. But the more complex foods I think I found is really where it seems like it does better, because then you get somewhat of more things for to tie into. So with that in mind, here we've got a couple of things. We've got a cheeseburger and I've got some chili. So if you are suspecting that I'm going to go with making a chili cheeseburger, that is what we're doing. So let me get a baseline here of this chili, just see what it does. Now I picked this Nalley's jalapeno, which is a sort of a misnomer because it is a lot of green chilies and green bells, and then jalapeno powder. It's not actual jalapenos in there. But let's get a baseline. I haven't had this in years. So Nalley's, if you're not familiar with it, is just it's like a Hormel. It's just a fairly acceptable canned chili. The jalapeno, the hot I think is the hot. It's actually hotter than jalapeno. But flavor-wise, they're all fine. They're all pretty general. So because I want to keep this the same, I'm going to actually try to measure how much sauce I'm putting in this time. So we're going to go with one of these white spoonfuls in here. And see, now we have a baseline, how this changes it. And then I'm going to duplicate the same thing over here for this one and then add it to the burger for my chili cheeseburger. I think the main problem with this might be the beer. This does work very well. Well, shouldn't say it. It does work better in chili. That wasn't bad. It did add a little bit of heat to it. Didn't. Chili is a strong enough flavor that it was able to sort of balance it out a little bit. Added a bit more heat than I was expecting, actually. Well, we'll see. I mean, I would call it a 1 right now, but we'll see after we bang some more of this down, kind of see where we wind up with. So let's make sure we have the chili the same. Oh, that's quite a bit better there. This bowl was warmer than the other one was. That seems to help quite a bit. All right, chili cheeseburger. See if we, this is going to be just a royal mess, I'm pretty sure, but that's fine. One of the reasons you don't see me doing chili cheeseburgers very often. I'm not a big fan of messy foods. That works really well when it's warm. That was kind of the impression I had of this, that it was going to make a lot more sense. There's the chili cheeseburger, freshly grilled. It was going to make a lot more sense in something like cooked into a chili. And that is actually pretty good. It is such a narrow scope, though, where it works, I feel. And that's one of the, I guess, challenges with some of these sauces is when they get narrow like that, you know, what do you do with them? It's not a sauce that I would say should be binned. At least not this not right this second, but the more I think about this, the more I think it's kind of the beer throwing that off. And if beer and hot sauces isn't a thing that you enjoy very much. And I think most of the times when there's been booze put in hot sauces, for me, the ones I've enjoyed have been the hard liquor, used very, very gracefully. But if you're not a fan of beer and sauces, then you probably won't enjoy this. All right, let's get into this chili cheeseburger and see what we got. This burger is cooked beautifully. Grilled by me, I'll have you know. This chili is a bit thin. I might need to add some more sauce to this as well, but we'll see. That's good. So we've taken a fairly pedestrian average sauce. So we've taken a fairly pedestrian average chili. I feel like we punched it up a bit. Let's try just the sauce on this chili. Man, this flow drives me crazy. All right, we're gonna try this. This is just the sauce. It doesn't do bad on burgers. So it works fairly well with red meats. Credit where it's due. And there's not always a whole ton of sauces that do that. Light meats and hot sauces are, thick as thieves. Because red meat has such a strong taste, it's often a bit challenging to pair hot sauces with it. That's a delight right there. Alright, we're going to throw some more sauce on there. Throw some more chili on there too. I tried not to get a whole bunch of the juice from the chili burgers, but Not sure how successful I was. I'm still pretty runny. Now we're getting into the mess part. You know, I will say I was contemplating binning this sauce after this review. But I really like it in this application. This is quite good. And that's sometimes what it takes is a lot of searching around. Now for me, the better I feel like a sauce tastes, the happier I am to do that. And this one by itself, I don't love. Alright. Tried to mop this up. I just made a mess. Stupid. I am glad though that I kept punting this one around. I got about half the bottle left. I don't eat burgers a whole ton. So I might continue to play with this and see if I can't find somewhere else I think it fits well. Probably be pretty interesting on fish tacos. I haven't tried that yet. Maybe I could get some of those fried chicken tacos from Del Taco. Beef tacos, and especially refried beans, no go. So what I do a lot of times is, and I've done it on video as well, I'll get a hard shell taco and I'll get a bean burrito from Del Taco, and I'll just make a double decker. And this one was okay on the taco part of it, but with the bean burritos it was bad. I didn't love it on the tacos though. I thought it was a bit too obtrusive for what I really wanted. And I think it's just that the beer component is just it making a bit of a challenge to find where it resonates with me. Definitely on burgers though, this is quite good on burgers. So that's probably where I will continue to use this. Along with maybe, like I said, the chicken tacos or maybe fish tacos, if I get some of those. Here's the challenge with this sauce, is that it doesn't really fit into any category neatly. It's not really a Mexican style sauce. There's obviously overtones of some of those flavors. It's not really geared towards really any, I mean, it's almost unique to itself. And maybe we just need a separate category of beer sauces or booze sauces or something like that. Because those tend to wind up being fairly distinctive from everything else. I don't know how I would categorize this. I mean, it's I guess in a lot of ways a straightforward hot sauce, except it, you know, has the oil component in there. So very unique, very interesting sauce. And if you don't mind beer in your sauces, this is definitely, I think, worth kicking around a little bit, trying to see if it's got a spot where you like it. Personally, these chili cheeseburgers, this is by far the best place I've had this. And I'm not going to do chili cheeseburgers every time, but I will continue to use this on burgers. And like I said, maybe play around with it a little bit, because it was on the verge of being binned after this video. But I got to say, this is a lot more impressive than I was anticipating, which is a really happy surprise. But this is definitely one, because it doesn't have a natural fit as far as I'm concerned, you probably are going to have to kind of sift through a little bit and see where it works for you. And we'll just leave it there. So there it is, the Charman Dos Locals Hot Sauce. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.